Hello, hey, my name's Ian. I'm from New Zealand and a company called Synthstrom Audible, and we make the Deluge, which is a portable synthesizer sequencer sampler, and let's have a chat about it.
And you have a new update.
Yes. Yeah, right.
It's a beta or is it?
It's an alpha. It'll be in beta in like about 2 weeks. All right, so I'd like to show you today our new arranger mode. So currently, the Deluge displays its tracks in this loop-based form, where each loop takes up one row. And you can mute and unmute to create your song. So we've created now a new arranger mode which displays your individual instruments on a timeline. So to access that, all you need to do is press down this song, and now you can choose your zoom level, and you can input your instruments like this. You know, let's say for example, I'll show you how you'd input one. You can just push down there, create another rotation there, and so it's very easy to kind of get an idea of how that will look. I'll play this so you can kind of hear it and see it in action. So as you see here in this mode, the cursor stays still and you'll see the track move towards it. I'll just zoom out a little wee bit. You can place the cursor where you like. Perhaps you want to see some of the audio coming before and after, and you'll see what happens here. So it's pretty easy to see what's happening here. As each new instrument passes the cursor, we kick in, and so your composition can be as long as you like. Now, one of the beautiful things about this is you can simply interchange between the timeline view here and going back to your loop view whenever you like, and then go back again. So say for example, I want to go back to the loop view now, I can just press song again, focus this, and now I'm back in my loop view, so I can use this mode instead. So I can just jam on this for a while, and then when I want to go back to the arranger again, I can just press song here. This takes me back into the view. I can then work out where I want to come back in by moving along, and then set it up to play. And when it got to the end of that previous loop, it now kicks back into the arranger view. And I can just keep going backwards and forwards like that and jam my song through. Now, when you're constructing a song in the arranger view, as I showed you before by putting down these 3 different instances here, I'll zoom out again. Now, so each one of these rotations will call upon that original loop, but say you want to have like a unique version on the timeline, all you need to do is press shift and tap that, and now what this has done is it's created a unique version of this loop. So whatever I do here will only affect that one instance, and the others will still play the original loop. Now if I really like this unique version, I can take that back into my loop view by holding down on here and pressing song, and now I've created a loop of it, and so I can jam with that unique instance and save it.
So you can freeze one loop, or you can jam around. So how many times you can do, or is it limited to one loop, or how long can?
It's as many as you like. There's simply no limits. So in this view here, the loops will just keep on playing over and over again until you mute and unmute them, and then in the arranger view, you just keep on like plotting them down as many rotations as you like, and you can move them around.
So this was a user request from any user,
yeah,
or maybe from your side as developer?
So I mean, we really wanted to come up with a more complete song mode, and so the last year, after sort of researching what people are talking about, not just about our product but about like basically all sequences in general, it seemed to be a pretty much consensus worldwide that there wasn't like a really deep song construction arrangement view on a hardware sequencer. So we sort of decided, oh, let's do it. Let's make the most complex arranger we can.
And what we have other new features maybe for existing users?
So what I can show you now is we've got a new filter on here as well, so I can show you that. So I'll play you our current filter. This is just a really stock standard kind of, it's preset 0 on the device, but this is just kind of. So that's the current filter that we had. Now we've made like a new filter that we call the drive filter. That's an emulation of like a classic kind of ladder filter. So I'll play that instead. it's really easy to hear the difference on like if we throw in an ARP on.
So you, it's an emulation, or you take something?
Yeah, no, it's an emulation, but it was a lot of time was spent on it because as you increase the resonance, more saturation comes on, and so more anti-aliasing is required. But to get that working, that it wasn't any more taxing on the CPU, it was just a lot of work and like recoding the Deluge's processing. So it's like it feels way bigger and gruntier and grittier than the old filter. It's really nice.
But it's very nice to see that you managed to add so much updates in the last year. Or
yeah, I mean we've done now four big updates, and each one's brought in like at least a dozen new features generally. I mean I think that's just sort of like, I mean I'm always surprised that other companies don't. I don't understand. I mean I think they're so focused on creating new products, whereas us we're just like, well, we really want to like master this.
And how deep is the engine? Can we expect even more features, or is it where it's limited?
No, totally. I mean I wouldn't like to say we're just getting started, but I think we've still got a lot more to do with this. I mean I think our users are really excited, and I think our users have got lots of ideas, and we really like making everyone happy. I mean, it's the nicest thing. It's like, it's way more exciting to like, get that feedback from your current users than get people excited about a new product. It's like, we love making everyone happy. So.
What is, there's the filter now, there's a new song mode, there's...
So we've totally overhauled the way that this is efficient on CPU and RAM. So in our 1.2 update, which was a little while ago, it now streamed all the samples from the SD card. So I can show you an example of, this is a really interesting way that not a lot of people use the Deluge, but you can actually use the Deluge as a stems player. So each of these individual rows individual stems, and so I can mute each track. So each of these is like a 4-minute stereo wave file. So you can see, I can actually, so this top line here happens to be that main vocal stem. You can color code it however you like, add in more and more parts. So it kind of shows you like, you can have a lot of samples going on here at any one time. So I mean, you can load a whole ton of stems like that and then add in more stuff on the top of it. So you can add your own synth tracks, add more custom kits on top of that. And the great thing about the RAM is that you can now load another song to start seamlessly after that with, again, a whole bunch of samples ready to go, lots of synths, and it'll be seamless as well. And,
so you add maybe also in the future more sample possibilities to change them?
I mean, we haven't really added any, well, not that I can tell you about right now, but I mean, these are the only things we're showing right here is basically, so we've got this new synth, these new oscillators. So we've got, you can now use an analog saw, analog square. So these are like, again, the emulations. So we haven't added analog oscillators in here, but we've done our best to like spend, so Rowan, the engineer behind this, actually he built an analog synth to then listen closely to like every single, the noise on the analog synth and compare it with the noise on the Deluge and all of that, and then tried to like get these as like close sounding as possible. So there's that, this new CPU and RAM optimization, and the new arranger mode. So we have other stuff coming in 2.0, but these are the only things we're showing right now. So people only have to wait a few weeks to hear what else we've got.
So you expect it for release, the new
in
update? In June?
Definitely, yeah. I'm coming back to Europe again in June to do some workshops showing people the new firmware. So it'd be pretty embarrassing if we didn't have the release out by then. So.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. See you.